Nowadays, women have so many reasons to close, to be defensive, to be cold, to be called masculine. And as guys, sometimes we can blame, oh, it's the feminist movement, it's women are too much this nowadays, too much that. And what you're experiencing from those women is a defense mechanism. Women have so many ways and reasons they feel they need to close because men are scary, men are this. Ultimately, it's a form of weakness in men. And as guys, we're quick to blame women. I'll see guys, a lot of the red pill movement will complain about feminism, which also doesn't address the question of what's my role in this interaction. It's the feminist movement's fault. It's women make too much money. It's she doesn't want to do this, she doesn't want to do that. And it's women just being scared. It's women being let down by guys. It's women ultimately not feeling a guy's power, direction, strength, certainty, genuine love from his heart. And as a guy, we can go and complain about the feminist movement or whatever. Has the feminist movement done good things? Yeah, some. Is it at a point of exhaustion where it's creating a lot of pain in ways? Also. But it's not really a black or white thing like it shouldn't have existed or it's ruining everything or it doesn't work that way. And rather than blaming women, blaming your girlfriend, your wife, or this is the reason you might break up, taking a good look at how you're showing up. As guys, we don't really appreciate what a woman needs to feel safe, which there can be a bit of a formula to it, and it's also very unique to the woman. And sometimes we can rationalize or hear women say that, and it doesn't always make sense. I know the first time I heard it, I remember I was in a room, and the guy on stage asked women, how many women felt, I think he said physically unsafe in the last 30 days. He actually asked guys first, and out of 1,000 guys, 6 guys raised their hands. Way less than 1%. And he asked women, and when you looked around, it was hard to see any woman not raising their hand. And as a guy, we can rationalize that experience. Like, well, you live in, Italy, you live in Canada, you live in the States. It's safe. And it starts really with primal physical safety. It's women are, if you have a man and woman and they're the same size, the woman's more vulnerable. And we live in a weird time where maybe that's not even politically correct to say, but it's just ultimately scientifically true with a rare exception. And then has a guy seen men operate, or her father, or who she looked up to, or other couples, or her brothers, or past relationships? Are they emotionally stable? Are they emotionally safe? Do they know how to hold space, how to be there, how to be calm, how to not get triggered, how to not get butthurt, to not get anxious, and be in the moment with her messiness of her emotions? And another thing that's uniquely different, a man's hormones, they're pretty much the same all the time. Meaning a guy's like the sun. The sun rises and falls more or less at the same time every day. The moon is constant change. A woman's experience of life hormonally, from let's say when they're an early teenager to then their 40s, 50s generally, is constant change. It doesn't make sense. It's a feeling-based experience. It's not a logic-based experience. In a guy's world, 2 + 2 always has to equal 4. You go, well, it's math. That's what it equals. 2 + 2 in a woman's experience equals, I don't feel safe, or I feel this, or I felt that before, but now I feel this. And us as guys honoring our sense of logic, of reason, of things making sense, that's honoring our integrity, honoring our truth. And we think it should be the same way for women. It doesn't work that way. It works that way in the business world because it has to. or because it just does, because it has to make sense when you're talking numbers and clear results. But a woman's experience is very, very, very fluid, which that's why they love consistency in a guy. It's like the guy does what he says he's going to do. Okay, I can trust him. Okay, or metaphorically, it's like, okay, I've been an independent woman, or I have kids, but I'm single and I'm driving the car of life. I trust this guy enough to go, here's the keys. I want you to drive. I feel safe enough. You've proved yourself. You've shown that you're reliable. And also as guys, we grew up in a time where we had, especially if you were born in the 70s, 80s, 90s, or beyond, where we had an unusual amount of women in our life. Like, that sounds really good. Not in that way. I can think back to going to grade school. We would have had, let me think, between kindergarten and 8th grade, so what is that? 9 levels, so we had 18 teachers in my school. 17 of them were women. Maybe you can relate as a guy, a lot of us can. Dad's busy, dad's not there, or dad's there, but he's not really there, he's not emotionally available, so we're around mom more. So as guys, we've had to learn how, and this is a newer thing, this didn't exist in the 50s so much, but if you were born in the 70s, depending and beyond, we've had to learn we've sensed women more, even if we don't get it. Or quite simply, we've just tried to please women because that's what we needed to do to please mom in the house, and then teachers or influences at school. And it made us more understanding, but in many ways it's made us, a pleaser. Being pleasing is one thing, being kind, but being a pleaser makes us soft and not trustable. And when we show up as a pleaser for women, which is very different than pleasing, even though they sound similar, it's like, well, he'll just agree with me to avoid conflict, or because he's afraid, or even if you're not saying that, she feels that, she knows that. So she might feel your emotions, she might feel your heart, but she doesn't really feel your balls. She doesn't feel your power. And understanding women, making sense, decoding the female operating system is so essential. Just think of it this way. Think if you're an entrepreneur, you're a businessman, and you have a business in New York, and you have guys coming in from Japan to do business with. You have a translator. He speaks the language. He speaks Japanese. He doesn't know the culture. He doesn't know the nuances, but he can say the words. That's not enough to really understand. You can do something with your body language that could be super offensive, and it could blow the deal. And you would never think, if you're a businessman running a business in New York, that you're gonna just try to wing it and teach in English to a group of Japanese guys that don't speak English. Well, of course, that would make no sense. But you have to understand the nuances of Japanese culture, of different Japanese things that don't make sense, or that, shouldn't say don't make sense, that aren't familiar or aren't in your culture. And that's how women are. But as guys, we often don't bother to try to decode women because we just view it as impossible, which it's simpler than you think. It's just a fluid system. It's understanding how to work with and track the system. But we just go, and women kind of do the same thing, not as much, but they go, men are stupid, they just want sex. And then men go, women are crazy, but yeah, I want a girlfriend, or I want to have sex. But if we genuinely appreciated why they had so many reasons to be defensive, to close up, to put on armor, to be anxious, to avoid things, we have a totally different appreciation. To the extent where it's so rare if a guy is just mildly curious and dives into that he can ask a few questions on a first date, or midway through a relationship when things maybe aren't going so well, where that woman will hear that and she's never experienced that before. Like, what has to happen in order for you to feel safe? Saying that on a first date, I guarantee 98% of women have never heard. So it stands out, which also means they're curious, do you actually know what you're talking about, or are you full of shit? So they may test you. And guys think that's a game. Not all of it, but a decent amount of it from a woman's perspective is unconscious while she'll test. Like, is this guy, going back to the car metaphor, I've been driving my car of life all my life. Is this guy just full of shit, or he watched some TikTok video, or does he really get it? So it's a constant thing of reassurance for women. And it never ends. As guys, we think, well, I committed, we're married, we have kids, she's just gonna feel safe for forever. And it doesn't work that way. Women's bodies hormonally force them into the present moment, which is kind of one of the things that's really magical about them. It's gotta be a wild ride from a woman's perspective as well. But they hormonally change so much. They don't change every 28 days. They do in a big cycle, but there's so many little cycles. There's at least 4 cycles in a 28-day cycle. And some people say every 2.5 days, women are hormonally different enough, and you can hear women talk about it and they'll agree that it's true. So I invite you to consider, as a guy, if a woman's not open to you, if she's fearful, if she's avoidant, if she doesn't trust you as much, if she seems guarded, defensive, whether you just started dating, you've been dating for a while, it's just something you notice. As a guy, how are you showing up in a world that seems so scary to women, where they've been let down by guys? It's easy to point the finger at your girlfriend, your wife, the feminist movement, or all women, like 4 billion people are wrong, as they point at us at times. But as a guy, what's your role? And how are you showing up? See you soon.